Hello. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some mindfulness skills to help decrease some of the anxiety and emotions that we go through. So, how can I put this? When you use some of the mindful skills, even people without any type of issues, it helps you to notice and stop and think. So, I'm going to talk about the what skills: observe, describe, and participate. Most of these are kind of difficult, especially if you don't practice them every day. If you try to use them when you have been triggered, you're going to find that it's almost impossible for them to work. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I usually try during my teaching, and I'm more or less, I used to be a Bible study teacher by way of conference line. So I'm going to try this to use some of the things and give some people to some of the things that I try using. They're not always effective, but I do try using them. So the observe. In observing, you have to notice your body sensation coming through your eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. So whatever sensation that hits you, sometimes when you trigger, certain senses are triggered as well. And you may be able to notice them right away, or somebody may see you and be like, okay, breathe or whatever, because they see that your face starting to twitch or there's certain body gestures. So you have to observe, and other people that are around you be observing you as well, and they could bring it to your attention. Oh, attention. Pay attention on purpose to the present moment. So if you're triggered by something, you have to try to stay present in that present moment, which can be sometimes very difficult. I'm only going to get through the observe because I want to share something that I am trying to manage. Control your attention, but not what you see. Now, that can be kind of confusing. Control your attention, but not what you see. Push away nothing. Cling to nothing. Practice wordless watching. Watch thoughts come into your mind and let them slip right by, like a cloud in the sky. Notice each feeling rising and falling like waves in the ocean. Observe both inside and outside of yourself. Now, some of y'all probably like, what in the world was she just saying? Yes, that's why people need to have DBT classes. Plastic up in the air, whatever one. Because a lot of these are difficult to understand, especially when one is triggered. I was told by my therapist to do this on yesterday, but that was remotely impossible because I was gone, okay? I was so badly triggered that I don't remember nothing of that day once I was able to get myself, well, I don't even know if I ever got myself together. However, here's a little piece of what I went through. I have an issue in dealing with people passing. And most of the people that's supposed to be my family knows you just can't blurt out or just say to me, this person died. You can't do that because it will throw me off my rocker to the point that I may need the ER, I need to take a breathing treatment. I am gone. So yesterday morning, I went into my inbox, and my sister, who did not use her brains, puts on there, she sends me this thing to let me know that my great aunt had passed, and it had the date and all that stuff on there. Like, it was some type of little card. I don't even think it took 30 seconds before I went from being quote unquote calm, cool, and collected to the point that I was in here so sick, crying uncontrollably, couldn't think, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything, throwing up all over the place. All I can go back to, and my mind was triggered to when I had an incident by that same sister when I was 5 and she was 8, where her and her friend put me in a coffin. We wasn't supposed to be in the church. They had just brought the body in, and people didn't start coming yet. Back then, I guess they just put the body in there. So they put a chair, and they told me to take a nap with James, which was no big deal because most of the children, when we run around the church, we sit and we, whatever. So when I seen that, I saw myself back on that body. I saw this, I saw that. I was gone. There was no skill that no one could get me to use. Phone coaching did not work. I was just a zombie. A doctor told me, try to encourage somebody else. Try to put something on YouTube like I normally do. I stayed stuck. I was in a total stuck place. Now, one of the skills they try to tell you, use that Teflon mind and, let things just go. And, I still don't understand that. But at any rate, I could not observe, participate, describe. I couldn't do anything. And when you get to that point, you can be at a situation where you want to do anything to numb yourself. And all kinds of thoughts was going through my head. And I really had to push hard to make it through. For the most part, I made it through it. Very bitter, but I did manage to get some sleep. And I did manage to get some sleep. So, in observing, I couldn't do it at that moment. I was able to do it later that evening and this morning. So, now, with the describe of the what skills, put words to the experience. That's difficult. Sorry for the long pauses because I'm trying to keep myself together. When a feeling or thought arises, or when you do something, acknowledge it. For example, say in your mind, sadness has just enveloped me, or stomach muscles tightening, or a thought, I can't do this, has come into the mind. Into my mind. Label what you observe. Put a name to your feelings. Label. A thought is just a thought. And a lot of people may say, yeah, right. A thought is not just a thought. For the normal people, what is classified normal? A thought may just be a thought. However, when you're easily triggered, a thought is not a thought because it takes you back to something that's similar to that thought that popped into your head. A feeling is just a feeling. An action is just an action. Unglue your interpretation and opinions from the facts. Describe the who, what, when, and where that you observe, just the facts. And I guess you could tell by the way I was trying to talk a little earlier, I just couldn't give the facts. It's kind of hard just to give the facts. Okay? Remember, if you can't observe it through your senses, you can't describe it. That's a very key thing. I don't ever remember learning that in there. But this is kind of good when you take this stuff and take papers that they give you and self-teach yourself at home. Participate. Mind you, we are in the mindfulness skills, which mindfulness skills are the most hardest skills to deal with when you're dealing with dialectic behavior therapy. Throw yourself completely into activities of the current moment. Do not separate yourself from what is going on in the moment. So if you're dancing, stay with the dancing. Try not to focus on anything. If you're cleaning, just focus on the cleaning. Talking to a friend. Stay focused in talking to that friend. Feeling happy. or feeling sad. Stay within that moment. Become one with whatever you're doing, completely forgetting yourself. Throw your attention into the moment. So, become one with whatever you're doing, completely forgetting yourself. So, when you're forgetting yourself, like if you come one with what you're doing, just say swimming, and you just floating and you're swimming, you become carefree, and you're focusing on your skills in the water. You're not focusing on what's going on the inside of you. It's like you're riding that wave of peace and calmness. That's just one example. Act intuitively from wise mind. Do just what is needed in each situation. A skillful dancer on a dance floor, one with the music and the partner, neither willful nor sitting on your hands. Go with the flow. Respond with spontaneity. So, in reading that, some of that may not be self-explanatory. Some of it is. Some of it is rather easy, and some of it isn't. So, now, I could give you a few practicing skills for observing, for when you can practice them every day before you're triggered with something. Because if you wait till you have a situation and your emotions all over the place, you won't be able to use any of your skills. So here's some ideas for practicing observing by coming back to your senses. Remember, observing is bringing your mind back to the sensation of your body and mind. Observe with your eyes. Lie on the ground and watch the clouds in the sky. That's one. Walking slowly, stopping somewhere with a view, notice flowers, trees, and nature itself. Sit outside, watch who and what go by in front of you without following them with your eyes or head. We know that's almost remotely impossible. You might as well say you got to sit there like a statue and just notice and focus. Notice the facial expressions and movements of another person. Refrain from labeling the person's emotions, thought, or interests. Now, we all should know that is very difficult. And even with us in general, we make a certain facial expression and people judge us by it and want to put a label to it. So think about that when you're trying to observe and keep yourself grounded on focusing on one thing. Notice just the eyes, lips, and hands of another's person, or just one feature of an animal. Pick up a leaf, a flower, or a pebble. Look at it closely, trying to see each detail. Find something beautiful to look at and spend a few minutes contemplating it. Forgive me. So that's some of the things with observe with your eyes. This book has umpteen million skills in it. Okay? This is the second edition. This is something that I'm working with on a one-on-one basis with my therapist. Unfortunately, I was just informed that I am not permitted to be in the DBT group because of the type of person that I am. I won't get what I can get out of it. This is according to my therapist, I will try to self-teach them. So, or not self-teach them, I will help them with what they need and how to get them to work towards a life worth living. So I felt some type of way that I was basically not able to come to the group because of who I am and the way that I am. So it's not a bad thing, but it's hurting. It's hurtful because I may learn better in a classroom setting, a group setting, than this one-on-one that's kind of hard to stay focused and using my senses as with a one-on-one. I tend to learn better when I can help others. Okay, so that's about it. A little small piece of mindfulness and the what skills. Y'all have a good day and be blessed.